All right, welcome back on this Feel Good Friday on a new day. And like we said, I mean, everything in life requires balance. And of course, today we are talking about various things. We were talking about nutrition a little bit earlier on with Kate, who gave us a snippet of what to expect later on in the show. But for now, can we talk about general wellness? And that is, we're talking about of the mind and of the body as well. And of course, joining us is Peter Oponda, who is a physiotherapist. Good morning.
Morning.
It's good to see you after quite a while. Okay, not too quite, but yeah, after.
Yeah, the last time we met was last year.
Last year. So happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Although the year is almost, in the middle. Now, when we talk about general body wellness, and I think this is something that either most of us don't really focus about. We always focus on when I'm sick is when I'll go to a hospital and probably get help. But it's important for us to prevent, such things. And of course, today we'll be focusing a little bit of the neck pain and a bit of the back pain. So, but in general, why is it so important for us to just ensure that our mind and our body is in order?
Thank you, Winnie. First and foremost, I'm Henry.
Henry, yes.
Not Peter.
Henry upon see last year we didn't know each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you say, for a long time, majority of people have been focusing on curative measures than preventive measures, meaning they really have to wait until the body complains is when they seek medical attention. This is a notion that we are trying to run away from because there are certain conditions that when detected early, then the management becomes easy.
Yeah.
But again, why we're talking of this is because of the nature of environment where we are nowadays. It's quite competitive, it's very innovative, and a lot of technology in it.
Yeah.
So you realize we do our work in different settings with the help of technology. And in the process, we acquire certain ailments that are actually preventable if we have the know-how.
Yeah. And you see, one of the things that people complain a lot, I mean, technology came in to help us, but in one way or the other, it's also causing a lot of problems, which again, if we're not careful, we might end up with more problems as compared to taking good advantage of technology. And of course, one of the biggest one of the commonest pains that people complain mostly about is on the neck pain. So when we talk about neck pain, is where exactly, or are there specific locations that are different?
Thank you for that question. So all of us knows our neck, and truth be told, you can get it from any part.
Any part, yeah.
It could be from the back, could be from the side, could be from the front. But again, the different locations on the neck regions means a different thing altogether. Yeah. Okay? But as you say, yes, most of the neck pain that we tend to experience over a period of time are related to certain body posture that we adopt or we acquire in our activities of daily living.
Okay. And yeah, I know things that we do or we adopt, or even posture, which I think it's one of the things that we don't consider most of the time. I mean, to me, I'm seated, to me, I'm standing, that is all that matters. But can we then talk about how, especially technology, how this causes or ends up, one getting neck pain?
Wonderful. So, for example, in your field of practice, you do a lot of briefing, anchoring, and so forth. And then, for example, you want to revise a certain article a whole day so that you can draw up facts that you need to convey to the society. Like, for example, I'll tell you to look at your look at the paper you're carrying.
Yes.
So if you have to look at it for a long period of time,
I'll have to look
exactly
down.
You have to look down.
Okay.
So we're seeing a body posture whereby your chin comes down.
Yeah.
Okay? So what happens when it comes down is now the back side of your neck is in constant pull.
Yeah.
The front side is kind of reduced or compressed. So you realize you get, over a long period of time, if you do this daily without knowing that, you know what, you need also to exercise your neck.
Yeah.
Or you need to stretch it out, okay, after a period of time. You end up losing the muscle strength that supports your neck. Remember, your head, your neck, besides providing movement, it's also the structure that hold or anchor your head
head.
into position.
Yes.
Okay? So any deviation from the normal structure, the alignment that God gave you, okay, you tilt it either forward or backward or whichever direction, you cause extra weight now on the subsequent joints that are on your neck. And that's where now the trouble starts to begin.
Yeah.
By the time you start reporting like you're feeling neck pain, already there's some damage that has taken place.
Okay.
Okay.
And the biggest concern, is it reversible? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But now something else, phones, which I think all of us are culprits in one way or the other. Can you talk about how this one also causes, you know, neck pains? And not just neck pains, the strain that we
very true, very true. And it's quite unfortunate that it goes even to the children. The kind of children we are raising today, they prefer playing soft games than hard games outside.
Yep.
So again, look at that baby, maybe playing a cartoon on his phone. Their head is down.
Yeah.
Okay?
And they do this for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
A child cries in the house, the best the mother can do is to get a cartoon that's singing. What do? They bend downward.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this posture, this abnormal posture takes place at an early age. By the time this child reaches around 20 years, already they start complaining of neck pain. Okay? But again, shortly we are going to discuss on how these structures can contribute to this discomfort. But what we are saying is that if we have the awareness of what this posture translates into your body structures, then we can avoid it.
Yeah. All right. Any other thing that causes neck pain? And we'll talk about then how this ends up causing headache, because we hear a lot of the time people will say, oh, I have a headache. I do not know why. I am not stressed. I am just fine, but I have a headache. So of course this could be a factor, you know, and that is on the neck pain. So any other thing that we can,
that is very true. And I think that's something that majority isn't aware of.
Yeah.
And you'll even get it in children. They tell you, Mami, nauma na kichwa.
Yes.
And then you start to wonder, what is all this about? Okay?
Some parents will tell you, my mom used to tell me, mtoto mdogo unasema unaumwa na kichwa, how?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So there are many causes of headache. There are over 300 causes of headache. But it's true, it's a fact that neck pain or neck discomfort or neck dysfunction can cause headache. That's very true, for a fact.
So then you talked about by the time you're feeling pain, it means the damage has already been done. So can we talk about then what gets affected that we don't know, and then later on is when we feel some bit of pain here and there?
Okay, great. So like us physiotherapists, we appreciate when you tell us you have pain. And in most of the times, as a physiotherapy, yes, a patient comes. For a patient to come to me or to go to a clinician at the A&E, is they have a complaint already. And most of the time for physio-related is pain.
Yeah.
Now, it is our mandate to establish what is causing pain. Okay? As much as we want to relieve your pain, but we must focus on what is the cause of your pain. And now that's when we go into the structures. We'll ask you a few questions. What is your nature of work? You can demonstrate to us how you've been working.
How you've been working, okay.
From there we generate a lot of things. Now we go inside start trying, adding 1 + 1, that if you bend forward, this is what is happening, and so forth.
All right, and sometimes, because you see, I think the most common is then the pain at the back of the neck. But what about aspects of here or on the sides? What could be the cause for the same?
Still the same. On the side, still you can get some discomfort, and actually this can actually cause you headache. We have a long muscle here called, it's a muscle that pops up when you turn your neck. You can actually touch it. It's called sternocleidomastoid. So it's also get tight or strained with time, with awkward posture, and that can trigger pain. Okay? But the other factors that are not so much directly related to musculoskeletal. Musculoskeletal, I mean muscles, bones, tendons. You could have issues with the thyroid glands,
Yeah.
okay? Yeah, that can cause you, it could be from the blood arteries that can cause you neck pain. So actually, whenever you feel any discomfort on the neck, it is quite appropriate to seek
Help. Yes.
help
Yeah.
to establish what is causing
the pain.
Because you might assume it's only the muscle, but it could be even beyond that. It could be
Yeah.
those organs inside, internal organs. Yeah.
Okay. So can we talk about then the area that's probably you will feel the headache most? Because you see
Yes,
there are various
yes.
places or positions in the head where they'll tell you, oh, this is because of stress and this one is because of either strain, lack of sleep, dehydration and all those things. For the neck pain,
Okay.
how do we differentiate and say, oh yeah, this is because of the neck pain and not either stress or
Great.
strain? Yeah.
Good. Largely, I've seen people not able to differentiate when it comes to headache, whether this headache is coming from my neck, and if it is headache as a result of neck issue, we call it cervicogenic headache.
Okay.
Where cervical from the cervical spine, the neck spine, cervicogenic headache,
Yeah.
okay? But also most of us are unable to differentiate between cervicogenic headache and migraines,
Yeah.
okay? Both will present like headache,
Yes.
okay?
Uh-huh.
So the question is now, which is which?
Which is, yes.
Cervicogenic headache will present as normal headache for a normal population who doesn't understand. Okay? And they tell you, I'm not stressed. Do you have a lot of work in the office? No.
No. Do you drink a lot of water?
Yes. Do you exercise? Yes. So everything is yes.
Is yes, yeah.
Okay? This is the time they even start living on long-term chronic pain medications
yes.
and so forth. Okay? This is another group that it is migraine. Migraine. Now, how do you differentiate? Simple differentiation is that migraine's headache comes from the brain.
Okay.
Cervicogenic headache comes from the neck, spine.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think now we can talk more on the neck spine. That is really directly towards me.
Yeah.
So what happens on the neck that will cause headache? Okay? If you leave other variables or other factors like maybe you had an accident, like car accident where you had severe neck movement called whiplash and so forth. The most common or the chronic cause of headache that comes from the neck is posture related. Now, posture related is whereby you have to work, be it computer, be it you're a driver who is always here, or a carpenter. You know a carpenter who is always here. You have to focus down here. Or someone who works in the saloon, okay? Hair stylist. You have to concentrate on this head while
and
standing.
Even in barber shops and
even in barber shops.
all those,
Okay? Even in this industry, the media, the camera guys, they really have to zoom and continue looking and move with this person throughout. So what happens is the neck movement is that you tend to bring your chin down. Okay? So when you bring your chin down, so we can use this and we can get a live demonstration. So these are the bones on the neck. Okay? They're actually 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is standard for any human being. But we can divide it into 2. They are the upper bones and the lower bones. Okay? The first 3 upper bones, the last 4 lower bones. Very interestingly, so this is the skull, this part of the head. So when you bend forward, because you need to concentrate on the activity, okay? So your chin comes down. Okay? However, so when you bend forward like that, the spine here tends to open backward. They open, flexion, okay? But the brain adjusts because you're going to turn down to concentrate on the item you want to work on, but your eyes has to continue focusing.
Focusing, yes.
So what is going to happen is that you're going to bend the entire structure,
Yeah.
but you're going to lift your chin a little bit up to focus there. So what happens is that the lower spine is bent, forward,
yes.
then the upper spine will be bent a little bit backward.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
So there's opening forward and there's opening backward.
Backwards.
Now this is a mixture of two movements.
Yes.
And you have to carry on with this activity. Let's say you are working 8 a.m. to 5. So let's say constantly 6 hours in a day for 1 week. Okay?
Yeah.
Look at the amount of stress taking place on your spine and
For
in
that
your
long.
for all that
Yes.
long. And in that spine, we said part of their work, besides providing movement, is to hold the weight of your head.
Yep.
So any deviation from the normal alignment put extra weight on this
On the-
structure.
yes.
Okay? That will provide, that will lead to compression, compressive forces on the adjacent structures, which are now the spinal nerves.
Spinal nerves, yeah.
Okay? When you create these compressive forces on the nerve is actually a very mean structure. Okay? It doesn't like to be touched.
Yeah.
If it is touched, it has to communicate. Now, that compressive forces around the neck spine, okay, is what causes stimulation of headache.
Of headache. That's very interesting, because now everything makes sense. Because you've heard people say, oh yeah, see at a hapa, because you see most of the time we think ukiwa na headache it's just up here. People will tell you it's back here.
Yes.
And so then is it on and off, or
Yes.
it's there constantly?
No, it is on and off. Cervicogenic headache or headache that comes as a result of neck-related
strain.
issues, it is not continuous.
Yeah.
It's non-continuous. It comes, goes, it comes, goes. But one of the clinical signs is that you are able to provoke it or to bring it on with certain neck movement.
Yeah.
Okay? So those ones will tell you when I start to read newspaper, it will come.
Yeah.
Okay, when I reach page 46, okay? Or it come around 3, 4, 5 in the evening. You might think you are tired. No, you're really not. You are not tired, but you really just strained your neck so much. Okay, so it is on and off.
Okay.
It's provoked. You can provoke it with certain neck movement. And certain neck movement can also relieve it. Yes.
Okay. Now here comes then the role of the physiotherapist, you know, as far as just headaches is concerned, because like we said, this is one of the most common things that people, you know, would always complain about. But then again, so the big question is, you know, sometimes people don't seek help. You know, just be like, yeah, my neck is just hurting, and then it will go away on its own, and then it doesn't, and then, so by the time someone decides to go and seek help, almost always it's when it has advanced, all right? So then this is where physiotherapists, you come into, you know, to play. So then, yeah, so what is the role of a physiotherapist in this particular setting?
A good question. And actually we can
Get
demonstrate
someone.
this.
All right, okay, let's just see how this one works, all right? We have Kendi, who of course helps us. You know, Kendi, please come so that we can know how this one works. Do I need to stand so that Kendi can sit here? Do you want her to sit here or there?
That's even better.
All right, okay.
Actually, I can move.
Okay, all right.
Can move.
So then, yeah, so you come into play, and then, so Kendi is here, works in the media for a very long time. She has to be seated and focus on the computer and all those things. Yeah, so what happens?
Great. So that was a very good question, that why is it relevant that you need now to seek physiotherapy help?
Yeah.
Great. So the answer to this question is because you want the cause of the pain to be addressed.
Okay.
Okay? If you want to treat the pain in itself, I'm sure you take topical applicants. You can
Yes.
take the normal one is what? Rob. Okay.
You apply it,
Yes.
and then that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now, when it comes to physiotherapy,
All right.
so this is Kendi. Kendi will do a demonstration on you.
Yes.
Kendi has been working in the media industry for the last 20 years.
Yes.
And her nature of work involves a lot of reading, back office. Okay? So, Kendi, can you read something in your hand?
All right. Let me give her my phone.
Yes.
Okay. There you go, Kendi.
Good. She's been following the lesson.
Yes.
So this is really really good, really good.
Okay.
So what happens is that when you are in this position, which most of us tend to be,
Yeah,
okay?
the head
So
is
you've bent forward,
Yeah.
but you realize you didn't allow your face to actually go to the floor, but to concentrate there. So just as we said, you bend forward, the lower structures of your spine is actually bent. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
But the
Should
up,
we turn? I can help.
Yes.
So that we can see clearly.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
okay? So the lower structure of our neck spine is bent, but the upper structure is like there's a bit
Still,
of backward
yeah.
movement. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have two movements in one spine structure. Okay? That causes dysfunction of the peripheral or the adjacent
All right.
sensory
Okay. Okay.
nerves. Okay? Now, in this position, what tend to be, so this is open in terms of bending.
Oh yeah. What we
What-
saw.
what we saw.
We saw earlier. Yeah.
So you will see these are called spinners processes. When you bend forward, they're actually
yeah.
opening.
And then they open. Yes.
You get that? So they have opened.
Yeah.
They're opening more. Then Kendi has to focus on the phone to read. So she has to
So yeah. Till
that a bit
yes.
up. Now that causes a closure.
Strain. Okay.
Okay.
Right here. All right.
Okay? The joint here becomes a little bit closed. What we call stiffness. It remains narrow. Okay? Now that narrowing up here at the cervical spine, 2 and 3, is what will cause some compressive
Okay.
forces.
All right.
Okay? On the adjacent spinal nerves, which will then refer pain
All the
to
way
the
okay.
head.
All right.
That's why
Okay.
they'll say,
Yeah.
I'm having headache.
Yeah.
Now, for you to treat this, you need to break this stiffness. This stiffness, you cannot break it alone.
Okay.
Neither can you break it with a massage.
Okay. So what happens? Wait, do you
Okay.
mean like literally breaking? No, you're not. You don't.
I mean,
Because someone will be like, wait, what? Break? No.
no, not the breakage of causing
Yeah,
a fracture,
yeah.
but mobilizing,
Mobilize it, yes.
mobilization, making it flexible,
Yeah.
opening the joint up. So that's why Kendi will need to be seen by a
By a
physiotherapist
physiotherapist. Yeah.
to come and help her open this joint,
Okay.
because it is this joint stiffness that is causing the headache.
Okay. All right. So most of the time, that is what happens in a classical case of we're using our phones a lot of the time, or laptops, even at home. You're working or you're watching a movie, you have to do this almost all the time.
Everything. And,
Yes.
and I even saw when our good nutritionist trying to focus
Yes.
on the food. I was very, I could see how the neck is down.
Yes.
She's concentrating on this and she has to continue looking at the other side.
Yeah.
So realize over a period of time, this build-up of pressure will lead to certain problems like now headache.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying when you create this kind of awareness, then they can come for, you don't have to wait until
You
you're
don't
in
have
now
to,
headache.
yeah.
You can come for physiotherapy, just wellness, maintenance.
Yeah, which is very, very
Yeah.
important. Okay, so before we of course go for music, a little bit of tarab here and there. So then, do you, or as a physiotherapist, can you sort of like break, not like actual breaking, the
Mobilize.
stiffness in? Oh yeah, let's just use mobilize so
Yes.
that we do not scare people.
Yes.
So when can you do that in, let's say, a day, and you get everything going back to normal, or it requires like multiple visits to a physiotherapist?
It depends.
It depends, okay.
At what point are you coming in? Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It depends. If you are in so much headache, I might not even mobilize that day because it's so stiff that any kind of touch elicit more
Okay.
pain.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
But like for you, you have not complained, but I can tell the neck is a little bit
It's a little
forward.
bit forward,
Yes, I
yes.
can do it within a day.
Okay, all right, then that's fine. Okay, so then, and lastly, as we finish, thank you very much, Kendi. You're very nice for today's episode. So then, as soon as the muscle that is sort of like morbid and it's not flexible as it's supposed to be, as soon as it is then assessed, can the headache then go away, or it will come back? As soon as then you get the posture wrong, of course the headache will come back.
Oh, great.
As we finish here.
Oh, great. So once you mobilize, you have to train the patient or the client on the proper body posture in their daily life.
Okay.
Okay? Now, if you don't educate, they go back to their same practice,
Yep.
it will reoccur.
It will reoccur.
So education from your physiotherapist is very important.
Okay. And very briefly, if then this is not addressed as soon as possible, what could happen in terms of, long-term complications?
Oh, great.
Are we looking at some things that are, at times, might be irreversible?
Very true. I have, and it's come from the same question, I have seen, not even a child, children at 25 years old
Yeah.
being diagnosed with osteoarthritis of the neck.
Yeah. Okay. That's scary.
Okay?
Yeah.
So yes, that stiffness limits movement there. Okay? When you limit that movement, there's no good nutrition in that joint. The stiffness and the wearing continues to grow. And that's
Yeah.
actually what we call arthritis.
Okay.
Wearing off,
Yeah.
and stiffness of the joint. So these are some of the causes where you've had people say, our grandmothers used to live up to 70 years without complaining arthritis. Today at 40, I'm being diagnosed with arthritis.
With arthritis.
What am I doing?
Yes.
What you are doing different is the use of technology.
Use of technology. So please make sure that you use technology to your advantage, not to cause problems. Henry Opondo, thank you very much. Physiotherapist from Karen Hospital. Really, really appreciate your time. Just to help us understand on how important, just mind and body wellness is concerned. And the most common culprit being the neck pain. So thank you so much.